Good afternoon, everybody, or should I say it's almost evening time. Welcome to Sunday, February 10th, and we are into the last month of summer now, and here's my outsider.
Hi guys, hi Barry. Thanks very much for having me on today's show. Very excited to speak.
Well, we always bang on about the number 000, but we'll get to that at the closing of the show. Now, today I'd like to talk about relationships and how they should work and how they shouldn't work. Well, relationships are when you meet someone new and you go out with them. And here's my outsider.
Thanks very much, Barry. I strongly believe that all relationships really need that mutual respect between each other and a really decent and respectful way of treating each other.
Now, the importance of having a relationship. You mustn't let it slide. Here's my outsider.
Yeah, that's right. It requires constant effort on both parts. It's very important that you don't let it slide, as you've said, Barry. You keep giving it your all.
And always respect what your partner is saying. And if you don't agree, just say in a nice way, I don't agree. Here's my outsider.
Yeah, that's right, Barry. Inevitably, couples disagree all the time, but it's about not letting that get in the way of your relationship, which is much more important.
Now, if you've ever watched the show Married at First Sight, that's a show on Channel 9 at the moment. Now, there's been a few dramas on that show, so watch it tonight and see what happens. And you must never use offensive language in front of a female when you have a relationship. And even if you're at a restaurant or out in public, don't say offensive things. Here's my outsider.
Thanks very much, Barry. That's right. You've almost said it all there. I think it's very important that you are speaking in a kind manner to your partner. Offensive language can be particularly harmful to a relationship, as it's all in the word. It offends the other person, makes them angry at you, perhaps, or sad at what you've said. So it's very important that you do treat them with respect.
And don't have an argument because that can ruin the relationship as well. Here's my outsider.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Barry. There are other ways you can resolve disagreements or frustrations that you might be having as a couple. It is important, though, that you do try to refrain from arguing because it's not a very productive way of resolving disagreement.
And there's no need to fight over who wants to watch a television show when you have a partner. Here's my outsider.
Yeah, that's right, Barry. That certainly can be a very trivial thing to argue about. It's very important that you don't let those things get in the way of your relationship. Think about what's more important or valuable to you, to watch your own show or to have a happy relationship.
And a word that I've never used on the show before is compromising. Now here's my outsider for this.
Yeah, thanks, Barry. It's good that you bring that up. Compromising is essentially letting what you want go and finding between the two of yourselves an area which you're both happy. It might require a bit of giving and taking, and essentially being happy with something that's not totally what you want, but in essence, compromising should lead to both people getting what they want.
And if you feel yourself getting frustrated with someone, have the talk privately outside of where you are, whether you're outside a restaurant or your workplace or just at home, and deal with the situation there. Don't take your anger and frustration to the family. Here's my offsider.
That's exactly right, Barry. I suppose every couple has their disagreements at one point or another. It is very important that you are mindful of others who are in the area to not make them uncomfortable, to make everyone feel happy and calm in your presence. So that's right.
So, how can a relationship be ruined? Well, people just ruin it just like that by saying really hurtful things. Like, I don't want to have anything to do with you. Here's my offsider now.
Yeah, Barry, that's exactly right. Letting your emotions get the better of you would be another way of putting it. Saying things that you don't necessarily mean can really offend the other person. And I suppose it comes back to something we brought up before, which is offensive language. Keeping away from that and keeping away from saying things that you know might hurt your partner.
And that can also ruin the friendship because, speaking of friendships, marriages can also wreck a good relationship. Here's my offsider.
Yeah, Barry, you're exactly right. That's right. So it's very important to keep that in mind, especially be mindful of your friends around you at that.
And don't speak without thinking because if you have an outburst, it can really ruin the relationship that you're having with him or her and spoil the friendship. Just basically, so here's my offsider now.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right, Barry. Keep in mind what you're saying. Think about what you say, as you said, Barry. Think about whether or not what you're saying will offend or hurt that person.
And we all get under the collar on a hot day, but don't take your anger out on your loved one. Here's my offsider.
That's exactly right, Barry. Try to hold it together. If you're feeling angry or tense, there's a very good chance that your loved ones are feeling the same way.
And often, by what people are saying to them or you or myself can often make people cry. Here's my offsider.
Yeah, that's right. It can be very hard to see a loved one of yours crying. So it is very important to watch what you say. Think about how it might affect that person.
And just before we get to the conclusion of the program of relationships, write down in a diary of how you are going to approach somebody. Here's my offsider.
Thanks, Barry. Good for bringing that up. It's very important that you do reflect on these things before you're faced with a situation that might result in you saying something. Essentially, we know ourselves better than anybody else. So think about how you might react to a particular situation. and write that down.
And also, respect what other people are saying when you have a relationship or friendship, because if you disrespect him or her, that could potentially end the relationship. Here's my upside for this.
Thanks, Barry. That's right. It does come back to respect. Very important to keep that in mind at all times. And regretfully, I'll have to leave now. I'm very grateful for being on the show.
Before we do go today, the number that we always bang on about at 000, please do not ring that number unless you really have to. And here's my upside with his closing message about leaving that number alone before we head for our Sunday night duties. Here he is.
Certainly is a very important message, Barry, and one that I feel like it's a good thing that we continue to bring up so regularly on the show. Be mindful that that number is for emergencies only. It's not a prank number.
And regretfully, that's where I must close the show. So have a good Sunday evening, everybody, and we'll catch you next time round. And here's my upside with his farewell message now.
Thanks, Barry. A big thank you out there to everyone who's watching the show, and obviously an enormous thank you, Barry, for having me here.
And we look forward to you watching our show about relationships and friendships and how to build a relationships. And just very quickly, it's very important that you think about what you say to someone before you approach them. Think about what you're gonna say and don't just go explode. Here's my upsider with his last closing message before we say goodbye.
Thanks very much, Barry. You've said it all there. It's so important that you do try to contain those particularly raw emotions. Give yourself a moment to have a few deep breaths. Really think about what you actually mean and what you want to say, and don't get carried away.
And regretfully, once again, it is time to say goodbye to you viewers now, and I will see you later on for the regular Sunday wrap. And here's my upsider now to tell you about the Sunday wrap coming up later.
Thanks, Barry. Yeah, essentially we'll just be doing a short show for you, just with a bit of a debrief on what's been happening here tonight. Sort of a wrap up.
And that's the way it is. And bye-bye for now, and here's Joe the same. Bye-bye too.
Thank you again for watching, viewers. Thanks very much.
And bye-bye for now. Bye-bye, everybody.